Today's story is from Acts chapter 8, verses 26 through 38. There was another good man like Stephen who had been chosen to help the apostles take care of the poor in Jerusalem. This good man's name was Philip. He did his work well, but like Stephen, he too wanted to do more than just help the poor. One day an angel of the Lord told Philip to go into a desert place. And Philip went as the Lord wanted him to, although he probably wondered what good he could do in such a place where no people lived. Out there in the desert, he saw a man from a country in Africa riding in a chariot, and he was reading. This man happened to be a great man in his country, the one who kept the treasures and the money of his queen. He had been to Jerusalem to worship God at the temple and to learn more about him. Now on his way home, he was reading a book of God that had been written by one of God's prophets hundreds of years before Jesus was born. And this prophet had already written about Jesus, who was to come as a little babe to the earth and grow up and teach the people and do good, and finally be taken like a lamb and be killed as a sacrifice for his people's sins. But the man did not yet know Jesus, and he could not understand this book. So he asked Philip whom the prophet meant by this lamb, himself or some other man. Philip then took the book of God and explained how Jesus had come into the world and how he had to die for the sins of all the people in the world, and how the people who believe in him have their sins forgiven and become God's dear children. The man now understood, and he was very happy to believe in Jesus. When they came to a pool of water by the roadside, Philip baptized him, and the man drove home rejoicing. He had found a new treasure to keep, which was better than money or gold or precious stones. Jesus was his new treasure. How faithfully he must have kept Jesus in his heart after that, and how happy he must have been to bring Jesus to his neighbors and friends in his own country when he reached home again. There are still millions of people in that man's country who have never heard of Jesus. And there are millions of people in our own country, some perhaps living near you, who do not really know that Jesus is their Savior, and that he will bless them and make them God's children if they will come to him and believe in him. But we who know Jesus can go to them and tell them about him. The man found Jesus in the book of God. We can invite people to our churches where the book of God is explained by our pastors and Sunday school teachers every Sunday, so that they too may find Jesus. And we can read and study that book ourselves so that we may better understand it and be able to explain it as Philip did, so that others will understand it and come to Jesus.